And then you put them like their head in the freezer because you're supposed to breathe in the cold air. It's supposed to be good for them for like shrinking the whatever. Okay. Swear to God, it's true.
I'm coming to you.
I don't know. Maybe somebody told me to do. I did that with Christian.
This is not a medical podcast.
I remember holding him sideways and sticking his head in the freezer. Maybe
for all your boys. You did it with all your boys.
Welcome to your mom. Your mom podcast. Your mom's podcast.
This isn't any podcast. This is your mother's podcast.
My mom's podcast.
Nah, dude, she's your mom.
With Ashley Addison and Lisa McCaffrey.
Your mom is a podcast.
Shut up, dude.
Welcome back to Your Mom, or welcome to Your Mom, for those of you who have found us for the first time. I am hoping, Lisa, that you cannot hear the Baby Shark songs going on behind me right now. I hope I have a nice enough mic that it's not picking up the ambient noise in the room next to me, because as we record this episode, my littlest one is homesick with croup.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
We may have a guest appearance by Cora.
Nothing would make me happier. Nothing in the world. First of all, she's a girl, first off. So yay, she can come in. B, I haven't been around a little kid in such a long time. I kind of miss it. So
I'm going to send her your way. This is when I wish we lived closer together. I would
take her. I would literally take her all day. Nothing would make me happier.
She would actually be good on this podcast because she has croup, and so she sounds like she's smoked 300 cigarettes.
Oh, so she sounds like me.
So she sounds just like you.
Great.
Exactly. They won't even, probably the listeners won't even be able to tell.
Totally. We probably sound exactly the same, have the exact same vocabulary and everything. So, yep.
Oh, okay, good. First and foremost, how was your weekend? How are you feeling? First football weekend in the books. How's the anxiety?
20. I'm still married, and I haven't put any children up for adoption. So
great.
Kind of a win for me.
That's a good win. Oh, and here we have
we are, Cora.
Visit. Cora, do you want to say hi real quick? You don't want to say hi?
Do you want to cough in the mic and let me diagnose you?
Yeah. Yeah, don't open Twitter. That's not what you want. This is what you want. Okay, bye.
Oh. Freshen mommy's drink and come back.
Yeah. I like my martinis a little dirtier, Cora.
Get to work, Cora. Come on. What the heck?
Okay, so you're still married.
Yep.
That's good. And you still have 4 sons, right?
Yep. As of now, yep. So all is good. So we're great. It's amazing. Yeah. Well, we went as a family. We went 0-2, so that's not fun. And it's hard to lose. And I've had to learn how to lose these last couple of years. So, which is probably God saying, "Hey, you know what? Calm down. Win with grace, lose with grace." And yeah, it's that. It's hard though. It's hard.
You also did so much winning throughout your entire life, both you personally and then your, Ed and all 4 of your boys. You guys have won enough.
There's been had success, and you know what? And this is probably making me look back and cherish those wins even more because losing stings. It hurts.
Yeah,
so
it does.
But that's okay. It's part of life. So in each game, it's so funny. You go into any game. A football game is a microcosm of life. It's like a whole life in that little 3-hour game. I mean, you have the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and everything in between. So, and you have to just sit there with a smile and pretend like nothing's wrong. It's very, very difficult. So let's see. Where's Jake Plummer with my mushrooms? Let's go. I need my lion's mane.
That's exactly what you need is some more mushrooms.
So anxiety. I made some coffee with some functional mushrooms in it that morning. And I didn't use the dysfunctional mushrooms. It was the functional mushrooms. So that might have helped because I survived. I did get a horrible migraine by the end of the day, but I survived. We're good. Everyone's good. So yeah, next subject. How are you doing? I saw you. Okay, wait, let me see. So I was watching the Pac-12 network. I couldn't hear it. We were at the UNC game and there was a tailgate I asked if, hey, could you stream the Rice USC game? And they're like, we don't care. Sure. So I was able to watch 2 hours of the Ed and Max and Dylan coaching and playing to my right. And then to my left with this big TV of Luke playing against USC. So my head was on a swivel. So no wonder I got a migraine, but they were able to stream it. And then at halftime, once Ed's game ended, I ran, my house was super close, literally ran to the house and thought, I had already downloaded the Pac-12 network app, tried to get it, couldn't get it to save my life. Finally, some friends came and this one guy was able to get it on this teeny tiny little screen. So here we are, like we're all of us are like huddled in the corner of my house watching the teeny tiny little screen. So
I'm very sorry to hear that. But I will say, at least for the studio coverage, the best way to watch the Pac-12 network is with the volume off, not for the game coverage.
Well, that's
Yogi
exactly.
did an
Once
excellent
again, and I
call on
told
that
you
game.
this when I talked to you on the phone, I have to say you looked absolutely stunning. Your outfit was spot on. You looked incredible. I was like, I couldn't hear a word you were saying, which maybe was for the better, but
best.
I'm kidding. You
That's
looked
for the
incredible.
best.
You looked so good. So that was fun to watch. I'm like, ooh, I want those pants. So you looked great.
I'll send
Good
them
job.
to
And
you.
you brushed your hair for once. So it was amazing.
It was for the first time in 2022. I did use a hairbrush.
Yay.
So things are looking up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all I got to say is, 0-2. The good news is you only go up from here.
Absolutely.
And
Let's
the
go.
other thing I want to say is a shout out to Luke, your baby who plays at Rice. I was supposed to be on the call and then I ended up having to get off before he was able to join. But we do an announcer's call, right? So you interview the coaches and a couple of the players before the broadcast, before the game, if you are broadcasting the game. And so Luke impressed the hell out of our entire Pac-12 network team. He was like the star of the show.
Oh my gosh.
Yogi,
I don't know about
obviously,
that.
you know Yogi. He just said,
Love
Luke was
Yogi.
incredible. But the one thing that I do need to tell you, and I hate to be the one to break it to you on the chance that he hasn't told you directly to your face, but Luke was saying, oh yeah, my mom ranks her kids. Well, I rank my parents. And right now she's at the bottom because she didn't come to my game. I'm not trying to twist the knife, but
that's twisted. Okay. Because that hits the mom guilt. There we go. Bam, mom guilt right there.
And he knows, but that's the thing. He knows that it does, right? Like
I got to go get my pint of ice cream and turn on Oprah. I got to go. Now I'm depressed.
What are you ever going to do? You're going to go to his game next week is what you're going to do, right?
100%. I have my ticket. I am ready to go. Provided
Luke, she's coming for you, baby.
Yeah. Provided Frontier doesn't delay my flight because I'm literally getting in at like a half hour before the game starts. But that's
what
okay.
could go wrong?
We're going to make it. Yeah. What? Smart genius. Whoever made that flight. Yeah.
And then you're flying to Charlotte.
And then I'm waking up at the crack of Lord knows what time to make it the next morning because Luke has a night game Saturday night. And then I'm turning around super early in the morning and flying to Charlotte and hopefully making his 1 o'clock game. So I have a little bit more of a cushion to make it. So if we're delayed a little, I'll be okay, but not too much. Please, American, don't delay me, please.
That's because you like Christian more than Luke, I guess, right?
Right. I wanted to give him that window, right?
A little bit of extra.
No, I didn't realize when I booked it, I strategically booked it. Not strategically. I accidentally booked it and I'm not going to be able to watch Ed, Dylan, and Max's game because I'll be on a flight.
Oh.
But they play Wyoming, so it's going to be a really hard game. So
okay. So maybe it's for the best.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Anyway, that's another now mom guilt there too. So I'm like always guilty. See, you have guilt when you can't, be with your kids or your kid gets croup because you're a bad mom, stuff like that. And then,
your kid gets croup and you just give her an iPad for 8 hours and you're like, oh, this is better than you going to school, I guess.
Right. You're learning something. You're learning how to use a computer. Maybe she can log onto the Pac-12 network.
We've talked about this though, that the guilt part, no matter what you're doing, and I think this is true no matter what your kid does, right? Whether your kid is playing football or whatever the thing is, when your kid loves something and your kid is engaged in something, like you want to show up and be there with them in it. And so whatever that looks like. And I think that resonates for every parent, that when you can't be there all the time, you just can't, it's impossible
physically.
And so you do your best. And the most important thing is then when you're there to actually be there. So for example, you asked me how my weekend was and how being back, I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I was off Sunday and Monday, and it was Labor Day, so everybody had a 3-day weekend. So we were actually, Chris took our kids up to Stinson Beach, and he was there with some of our other family for the weekend. And so I drive up Sunday morning, and it was so, I'm feeling like sad because I'm only going to be there for 12 hours with them, and then we're going to be sitting in traffic on the way back. And finally, I'm like, shut up, you're here. Yeah. Just spend time with them, have a blast. And it was great. The best part is I walk in and I see Cora and I say, Cora, oh my gosh, I missed you. I love you so much. And she looks at me and she said, oh, hi, Mama. I love you, medium. And I was like,
oh, so she's ranking you too.
She's already ranking me. Yeah, I love you, medium. I was like, all right, I'll take that. That's fair.
That's not bad for being away for 3 days and neglecting them. So come on, that's not too bad.
I'd say that's pretty good. Obviously. Yeah.
I think I'm
Now,
pretty
do we want to go
low
back to
for
the
me.
medical advice that you were giving me before we came on? That what am I supposed to do with her, with Croup? What's the?
Okay, I don't know if some doctor, we went to witch doctors when I was raising my kids, but when Christian used to get group like once a winter, I swear, and they told me to throw them in steam, like put them in, it sounds like I said, it sounds like I'm making a recipe, but you put them in some type of steam, like you steam them, let them breathe in the steam. And then right from there, you rush them and you open the freezer and have them breathe in the cold air. And it's supposed to help with their, like their air passages waves. Yeah. And help them cough less.
And did it feel like it worked for you? And
I don't know. They got over it. They're fine. I don't think he has croup right now. Let me call him real quick and say, how's that croup?
That we never got rid of from when
Christian got it. Christian, yeah, he never got rid of it. He still has it. It's lingering.
What was the
but I don't know. That's what they told me.
What's like the sickest? Did your kids get sick a lot? Like, what was this? Do you remember a time that it was like one of them was just really sick?
Christian got one of those bird flus or one of those like weird flus that came in bizarrely on a Wednesday. Horribly sick for like 24 hours, really bad, and we're giving him whatever we could and blah blah. And we made him play his little league game on Saturday because it was a really important playoff game. However, he wanted to. Keep in mind, he wanted to. Horrible parenting. Yeah.
How old was he?
He's probably like 9, 10, maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
Did they win?
He's fine. Yeah, they won. Heck yeah.
You got to play hurt sometimes.
Yeah, you got to. Come on. It's for the team. Suck it up. You're 10. These kids depend on you.
The proudest my dad has ever been of me in my life was...
It was his Michael Jordan game. That's
9
what we'll
or
say.
10. Yeah, it was Michael Jordan game.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Bam. Okay.
My
yeah,
dad,
so what's yours?
dad came to visit. I was playing basketball that weekend. I think I was like 9 or 10. And I was throwing up. I was staying with him in a hotel room. I was throwing up everywhere all night. And in the morning, I didn't think that I was going to go play a basketball game, but I hadn't really thought about it. And in the morning, I hadn't thrown up for about an hour. And he said, well, do you want to go play? And I kind of thought, like, I guess you're the parent, so I should follow your lead. So I said yes. And I went, and I had I don't remember exactly my stat line from that game, but
you don't know how many points you score, how many rebounds.
I'll have to call my dad now, I'm sure he has it written down. He still brings it up.
No way.
That was, it was just
tough.
So tough. And I thought, yeah, I guess that's good. We're in a different era where like plain sick, or at least, I think coming out of COVID, like going to work sick and doing things when you're sick is now very much frowned upon in a way that it didn't used to be. But yeah, I think playing sick is okay. It's Michael Jordan flu game.
Yeah, it was his best game ever. Yeah.
Exactly. It's his best game
fine.
ever. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess this is definitely not a medical.
No, don't take That's just what some doctor told me. I don't know if it worked.
What this podcast was about, and we're not really sure either.
How to cure croup.
Yeah, it's not about that. So the other thing that happened this weekend that I think really resonated with people based on my Twitter feed was my mom was up with us in Stinson, and so we watched after we put the kids to bed on Saturday night. We watched the new Top Gun movie, which I know I'm like 2 months late to the party. And
hey, I haven't even seen it yet. And I'm like, no, everyone's yelling at me every time I say that. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay.
I haven't enjoyed a movie that much in a long time. It was
actually, my mom's coming over, and I make this once a week. I make a really good meal for her. She comes over and we'll watch it. She hasn't seen it either.
Watch it, and then
she'll watch it again.
What I did,
yes,
which was I was getting
that's gold.
So watching a movie with my mom. Watching a movie with my mom is much like watching a movie with probably most people on here can resonate with this. She just doesn't, the commentary, like the nonstop running
diatribe, just rolling.
Diatribe. Yep. It's the reactions, but it's the questions too. And I'm like, Mom, I don't actually know. I don't know if there's a plane like this. I don't know he doesn't have his life jacket on, and that is a problem. I totally agree. I mean, it didn't stop. And so I went from feeling so annoyed, and God bless you, Mom, you're the best. But I went from feeling like I needed to go put on headphones or go sit in the other room or stop watching the movie to I was like, I'm just going to start writing down everything that she's saying. So good. I just started on my phone writing down.
Good.
And I tweeted it out, and I cannot tell you the number of people who have texted me or tweeted me and said, okay, your mom and my mom need to watch movies together because they might cancel each other out. So I think apparently this is a thing. It's not just my mom that doesn't, like, quite literally cannot keep the peanut gallery comments to herself.
Right. And I'm not sure what my mom's going to do tonight if we watch this movie or a movie. I don't know how bad she is with movies, but I can attest that during a football game, sitting next to my mom, nails on chalkboard. And I love her to death more than anything. But it's literally like, what do you think happened to him? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm in the stands just like you are. I don't know. And they're like, well, why didn't that play work? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't even know what play was called. I just know it didn't work.
Did she yell at the did she ever get mad?
Why did that offensive lineman let that guy go by? I'm like, I maybe we should ask him. I don't know. Like it's the referee, like screaming at these uncontrollable things that of course I'm like sick to my stomach about. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what? And the other thing she does is like, she'll like tap me, Christian's in, or tap me, Dylan's in, they're putting Dylan. I'm like, Mom, I'm watching the same game you are. I get it. I totally understand. And by the end, I'm like, I have to walk away. I have to move. So I don't know. And I'm stressed out. So every little thing bugs me even more.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what you should do? You should just start writing it down and see. That
totally,
really helped me.
And
so.
she loves her grandsons. She loves them to death.
They can do
supportive.
no wrong.
And I appreciate that more than anything. But yeah, that's just the one time I'm like, so my friends help, like they'll buffer a little bit. And
that's a universal truth though, that grandparents, their grandchildren, no matter how, they can do no wrong. I don't know if this may be a story that I'm going to ask TJ to edit out because I haven't thought about telling it, and I haven't told it in a long time. I'll tell the Cliff's Notes version of it.
Yeah,
this is further proof that grandparents and grandmothers in particular always protect their grandchildren at all costs. So, in 8th grade, I was a very good kid growing up. You know, like Catholic school, I got good grades. I always listened to my parents. I was, for the most part. Right. Good. 8th grade, we moved from Michigan to Colorado and I started a new school. And I don't know if I was trying to make friends or, was trying to be cool, or if it was just I turned 13 and when, girls turn 13, their brains stop functioning.
Right. Those hormones kick in. Hormones, mess everything up. Yep.
There was an incident at school that involved urinating in a fish tank, not a fish tank that had fish in it, by the way. This was like an old school project that was in a classroom. There were some girls who all of a sudden it became a thing that like they would go and urinate in different places. It's disgusting.
So were you like marking your territory?
I guess. I don't know. I'm embarrassed even saying it out loud, but like,
I'm embarrassed to listen to this.
There was a group of girls who like, that was their thing. And somehow I kind of like fell into that group a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say whether I did or did not partake, but all I will say is that I did not stand up and say, you guys shouldn't be doing this.
Right. Because you wanted to fit in and be popular. So I
was
get
just
it.
trying to be cool and popular and have some friends. So I'm like, pee wherever you want. That sounds great. So obviously,
weird.
as with all pranks that happen, the school finds out. I can't remember exactly how it was that it all went down. And we all tried to, lie about it, I'm sure, at the beginning. But push come to shove, we all get in very big trouble, as we should have. And we had to pay, I think it was $50 each to replace.
To disinfect every
tank.
Inch of the school.
Yeah. Yeah, carpet was much cheaper back then. I cannot believe I'm telling the story. And so in any event, my grandmother, my mom's mom was visiting at the time, and I am in as much trouble as I've ever been in. Because granted, like I hadn't really gotten in trouble up to this point. Starting in high school, I started to get in trouble a lot. So it became more normal. But this was the first time that like the school had called my house and I had to have a meeting with the principal and our families were all involved. It was this huge, big thing. So my grandmother was there and she kind of heard and understood everything that was going on. And she saw how much in trouble I was getting with my mom, and there were tears and there were all sorts of things. She snuck into my room later and just said, "Hey, I know that I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that whatever it wasn't your fault." And she snuck me a $50 bill and she said, "Just take care of it with this."
So she didn't know that you were pissing in a fish tank.
What are you talking about? I wasn't pissing in a fish tank. And I just remember thinking, "Oh, Grandma, I love you. And you have no idea that you shouldn't be doing this, but because I didn't have $50. I was in 8th grade. I was going to have to work. Do a lot of
most ones or babysit.
She bailed me out. Now, again, I still got in a lot of trouble, but there was something about her in the moment that I felt the most vulnerable. I felt so awful about myself. I've never felt worse about myself. It was like the first time I got in big trouble for something that was bad.
Right.
And to have your grandma be like, I know
It's okay.
You're okay.
You're
You're not the bad one. Like,
It's actually
you're my
cute.
granddaughter. You're good. So I just want to say, when your grandchildren go awry, which they will, just slip them $50, tell them everything's going to be okay, and then one day they'll tell a story about that on the podcast many years later.
Wait, I
that
do
felt
have
cathartic. I feel like I just let a lot
real
go
quick.
there.
Did you guys I just picture a fish tank on a table. Did you stand over it and pull your Catholic school skirt up and urinate directly, or did you transport it
that are
from
untold?
Gosh, my mind is going right now. Wow.
Yeah, we'll
But
have
God
to do
bless
an
your
uncut
grandmother.
version of your mom where we dive into some of those particulars. But I've already got us far off track. Was not planning on telling that story really ever. I've got very dear friends who don't know about my mishaps.
Now they know. Game
Either
on.
way, yeah.
That's okay.
The fish tank was fine in the end. We replaced it and all was well. And I wasn't allowed to hang out with those girls anymore. So
Yeah. That is insane. Okay.
In any event.
Thank God for grandmothers, huh?
Yeah, thank God for grandmothers. That's the point. So I guess the larger point that I tried to start with, that now my brain is in a lot of different places.
8th grade.
I just told that
Thinking
story.
about,
I'm back to my 13-year-old brain where I'm like, wow, what can I pee in today? The point that I was trying to make was that the Top Gun, go see it. If you watch movies with your mom and she annoys you, just start writing it down. To appreciate it. Because by the end, I'm looking at this and you can see I tweeted it out.
Cold.
I won't read all of it, but
it's so funny. I was crying
she's
laughing.
Watching the opening scene where he's on Tom Cruise is on his motorcycle. Oh my God, that's so dangerous. No helmet and his jacket's not even zipped. I'm like, I know. And I go from being so annoyed to then just
embracing it, just owning it, loving it. Yeah.
Loving it. Just embrace it.
Laughing.
Because that's the real thing. I feel like we all get annoyed by our parents, right? And we all know that we're going to annoy the hell out of our kids.
Right. I don't annoy my kids, but everybody does get annoyed by their parents. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's two parts of that. How do you not get annoyed by your mom or your parents? What's the key to that? And maybe it is embracing it and just naming it and loving them for how crazy they are. Mm-hmm. And then the other side of that, Lisa, is we've talked about this. How do you not go crazy when you're older? I feel like so many of and I would say if my mom was sitting right next to me, I'd say this, and we were the ones that probably made her crazy. So that's the answer. But I just feel like all of my friends whose moms are in the mid 60s, late 60s, 70s, they not only do they get so annoyed, but they're kind of loopy. They're kind of going a little crazy. And part of it that they just don't care as much anymore. I
think so. Yeah. They're just might as well live my life and speak my mind. Let's go. I have nothing to lose. Yeah. Cause we talked about it before, older women are not valued in our society. They really aren't. And hey, you got to make your mark somehow. You might as well speak your mind. Go for it. Yeah. We still have a lot.
If you're not going to be in a fish tank, you may as well just start speaking your mind.
Should I have peed somewhere and made my mark in elementary and middle school? Gosh, darn it. I don't feel like I own my school now.
You don't. You definitely do not. But they still own you and claim you, which my 8th grade does not. So, but I do think that you hit the nail on the head. I don't think, and one of my best friends in the world, Cassie, she was the one who said it so bluntly one of the first times this was many years ago. And she said, you look around and our society does not value older women in the same way, certainly, that they value older men or still have the ability to value older men.
Right.
And I think that part of getting older as a woman is trying to navigate that feeling and that sense of, okay, when I was young and I had this to offer, I was a mom and I had this to offer, I was a professional, I had this to offer.
Right.
And then when you get older and you don't have all of those things, people treat you differently. And I think that's the reality of it, the sad reality of it. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is.
No, I don't either.
But it's to not get annoyed by your mom. That's I think the answer is kids.
That's sort of the key. And maybe don't pee in a fish tank.
Don't pee in a fish tank.
Get anything out of today's lesson?
That's.
And how do you combat croup?
You can always take one or two really good life lessons that you can apply immediately.
And how you combat croup.
And how you
sauna. Freezer.
Our episode number 7 of Your Mom is going to be the highest rated one. We're going to have sponsors knocking down the door after this. I do want to bring up too. Last week we got to go on Richard Deitch's podcast. He has a media podcast and he's awesome. We appreciate him having having us on. I think that episode will come out this week or next week. But one of the things that I loved was when he was asking about process, like how do you figure out when you're doing interviews where you're going to start? And he's so curious about process from like a media standpoint.
Right.
And I'm just realizing as we are recording this episode that I wouldn't say that like our process is all that dialed in for these episodes, that it's just us, but maybe that's part of it.
But that's a podcast. You're supposed to just, interact and let it flow kind of in a way and see where it goes.
And then all of a sudden you're telling like your most embarrassing story of all time and it's out in the world.
That's gold. That's amazing. That and your mom, literally watching the movie with your mom. I can't get any better than that.
I just can't wait to see your mom's quotes from watching Top Gun.
I think I'm going to do it from the game because those are gold. Like literally, I'm going to just, that'll distract me. That'll help maybe keep me calm too, because I have to embrace it and sort of like laugh about it because it's comical. It's so good. It's so good. And she won't hear
and I am sad, by the way, you going back to the stress of your game days. I tried to, and it should be there soon, but I did send you some of Jake's Myco Love tinctures that Marilyn Plummer recommended to us last week. Which,
you sent them to me?
If you haven't heard that podcast, people go back and listen to it. Marilyn Plummer was
How to Combat Stress. Jake Plummer.
Gem. Yeah. So hopefully you'll be getting those soon.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I'll try them. I will absolutely. I'll try anything. Hey, send me whatever in the mail. I got it.
Hey,
Lisa. Did I was looking through my notes the other day and I had written down, I mean, we've told so many stories, and over the course of the past year, as we were getting ready to launch this podcast, we recorded a lot of different demos and different things. There was a story that you told that I think never made the air that I want to revisit now, because you were talking about how Max won the weekend. Max called a great game. Your oldest boy, who's the OC at Northern Colorado, called a great game.
Yeah.
But it made me remember that you told me a story about how he almost got arrested last weekend while coaching a game.
Oh, the clipboard?
The clipboard. Not last weekend. This was, you told this story
last year. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
So he almost got arrested last year.
He didn't win that weekend. Let's say that.
Yeah. Can you tell me that story?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, it completely got blown out of proportion in the media, which is like, I mean, if that doesn't tell you, don't believe everything you read, this will. Okay.
Only believe everything you hear on a podcast.
Exactly. That's it. This is fact. Okay. Mind you, I wasn't there, so I'm getting this filtered through Max, through Dylan, through Ed, and Kathleen. Kathleen's Max's girlfriend who works with the team as well. So evidently, I think Dylan threw a pick. So Max took his clipboard and hit himself over his leg with it, his knee, and it broke in half. One piece went flying, another piece went flying. So he's like, he realized in his head, he goes, oh, that was out of control. I shouldn't have done that. So he went over and he picked up the two pieces and he was walking over behind him to throw them away. And the fans were really close to where this trash can was. And so they started heckling him, which is pretty funny. They were making fun of his tight pants, which is a whole other story, which he embraced. So first of all, there's two coaches on the team that are in really good shape that can wear the game issued pants.
What, like tight jeans? Like what?
No, they were like coaches' pants, and they're almost like Lululemon tight, like tighter pants.
Okay.
Max and one other coach. Ed, no, he's not wearing those. He's getting his own. A couple other coaches. No other coach on the team really can wear them. Max wears, so he feels obliged to wear them since it's one of the only few that can wear the team issued pants. So he has his pants on, and they are a little snug. They might be even a little more snug this year. So they were heckling him about his tight pants, which is hilarious, first of all. And he was laughing about that. But then someone's like, hey, give me your clipboard in the stands. So Max, mind you, underhand tossed it to the guy. Max, he was never a quarterback, for the record. So is not very accurate in throwing, tosses it up underhand. I think he overshot it a little bit. And evidently from what I understand.
The broken?
One of the pieces. Okay. One was in the one he threw away, and then just one of the pieces. He underhanded through to the guy that was like yelling because he just thought he was kind of laughing about it at the time. It wasn't an angry throw, but then he had calmed down and realized I got to remain calm. Underhand through, and it missed the guy who was trying to catch it, and it hit the guy behind him. That was the guy. To be honest, supposedly the guy blew it out of proportion. Like it hit him in the arm. He tried to say it hit him in the head. The paramedics came. They're like, "Oh my gosh, everything is fine." Like it ended up.
Blood?
No, there was no blood. There was no blood. It was very, very not very dramatic. But then it got blown out of proportion. A reporter like went up and interviewed the guy, and it was very. He claimed it got hit him in the head, and all these things happened. But so it was like his word versus him, and that's when it exploded in the media. It was the #1 story on ESPN that week. And if it wasn't for Urban Meyer philandering after a game, like Max's was the big story. I'm like, Max, what? We were like in shock. We're like, you've got to laugh at it. He felt horrible, of course, but it was actually really funny. So thank you, Urban Meyer, for whatever you did.
Thank you, Urban Meyer.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up getting video, and it proved that Max was absolutely correct and how absurd it was. So he did issue an apology. He wrote an apology, and that was it. So yeah, that was the clipboard story. So of course, from all the coaches completely heckle him, and they give him clipboards for every birthday, every Christmas and whatnot, and then the tight pants. Oh, it's so good. There were some memes about him and his tight pants that were gold. They were so good. So,
but that's just jealousy, right? Like if you're heckling somebody for tight pants, it's because you can't wear tight pants.
No, he probably should be heckled. Come on, no guy should be wearing tight pants. Come on.
If you got it, why not? Well, my question is, did you get him in trouble? Were you upset with him?
No, I was a little late to the party. I forgot. I wasn't at the game, like I said. So they told me what happened, and I'm like, and I when they told me, I was in my head, I'm like, oh, this is so funny. It's kind of like, it's comical. But then it blew up, and I'm like, was there more to this story? And then I start second guessing him, like, no, for real, Max, did you throw a clipboard at a guy? What the heck? And I'm mad at him, and he's like, no, I swear. And they got the video, so it proved that he was absolved. So yeah, he was accurate. But I was mad for a little bit. I'm like, what the heck? And and of course he was remorseful enough that he didn't need his mom over there telling him, don't throw a clipboard. He knew he shouldn't do that. So he didn't need me piling on. And I actually thought it was really funny when I heard, but then when it got blown up, I was mad. But it was so innocuous and so minor that I can't believe this got blown out of proportion. So anyway, that was
to
last
not raise
year.
Dicks, and all of a sudden,
right? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, ooh, maybe I messed up.
Is wearing tight pants, chucking clipboards at fans.
That's how it was portrayed in the media. Like it was it was rash and throwing a clipboard, which would have been horrible, of course.
That's why I'm glad we have this podcast now, Lisa, because there's going to be more. That is what is funny. And I have worked in the media for 15 years now. You see how stories.
Yeah.
The ones that should take off don't.
Right.
And then ones that are nothing, or like you were there to see it. I mean, there's been multiple examples of something that I've seen, and then all of a sudden it gets spun up and it becomes this whole big deal. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not the story that we should be telling. There's another one. But once it catches fire, and especially with social media, forget about it. So again, thank you, Urban Meyer.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's another. Yeah, thank you. He did his job.
And
then that piggybacking off that, I remember at the Heisman, somebody posted a story that Ed and David Shaw were in a fight about Christian going to the NFL. First off, like it was the weirdest thing. And then it was the clickbait was absurd. And it's like I don't even think we've had this conversation at this point. Christian had a whole nother year for sure, maybe 2. And that was like complete clickbait. So they're at odds. And what do you do? I'm like, no, nobody's at odds. No one even had a conversation. So I don't know how that got blown out of proportion too. But it shows you don't believe everything you read. So
don't believe
anyway, I don't even know what to believe anymore. So not that.
Believe in your mom.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you can believe in.
Yeah. And your grandma.
Mostly.
Oh my gosh. Mostly your grandma. Yeah. Shoot.
That's, you know what? Season 2, your grandma.
Right. Your grandma. Right.
That should be because they're the ones with all the wisdom.
Absolutely.
And if we really want to help society value older women, then maybe we just need to spotlight them more.
All the wisdom. They don't care anymore. They're just going to say it like it is. And they're going to give you $50 here and there.
Maybe when you become a grandma,
we can
change the name.
I know. What is it? When you have the dogs, I'm like the grand dog mama, or whatever. I'm like, that's okay. That's weird.
We'll wait for some humans. Do you think you're going to, I'm not going to say that like any of your boys are having kids anytime soon. None of them are married yet, but have you thought about becoming a grandma? Like, is that something that you're excited about?
One of our friends just became a grandma, and she's like our age, and it's the greatest thing ever. Yeah. It's, oh my gosh. Yeah. It would suppose everybody says it's literally so much better than when you have your own kids.
I have heard that too.
I've heard that.
Might hopefully finally get a little girl, that little girl that you're waiting for.
Nothing would make me happier. Nothing. Oh my gosh. I'm literally like online shopping right now, ready to press buy.
You have 4 boys. So I am just going to say it right now. One of them, we're going to put out in the universe. One of them is going to have a little girl for you.
They better. Where's Cora? I want to hear Cora.
I'll get her back in here when we wrap things up. She's still like, I think her nose is like this close to the iPad right now. She's just learning about sharing. She's learning something really important. Something I couldn't teach her.
Right.
Right now.
Some cartoon sharks teaching her how to share.
Yeah.
Nice.
Every shark is talking about how much we want.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be the one since you were pissing in shark and fish tanks. So maybe not you.
I mean, that's the thing is that one day, I was never planning on telling my kids this story, but one day if they ever find this podcast and listen to it, they're gonna know.
But you know what? It's actually a good thing to be honest when they're age appropriate of the stuff you did, how you messed up, and they know they're like, oh, my parents are human. So I think that's a good thing. Yeah, that was a lesson Ed had to learn because they always thought Ed had never done anything wrong in his life and he was so perfect. And no, Ed had some stories too. So
well, and that goes. Oh yeah, what did Ed do? Tell me what Ed did.
We'll have to get him on.
Did Ed ever pee in any fish tanks or anything?
No, no. He was so.
He's not that gross.
He would never. That's disgusting. God, Ashley, please. It's so gross. Oh no, he had one story when he first got to Stanford. He was a freshman and went with a bunch of players to a movie theater, and they were. This is so stupid. It's not even. They were most of them were underage, and they were drinking in the parking lot. They had some beers in the parking lot outside of the movie theater. And I know this is so stupid. But this show you his Catholic upbringing, very strict upbringing. The movie theater cop rolls up in his golf cart, and Ed said, he goes, I've never run faster in my whole entire life. He ran from the movie theater somewhere in Palo Alto to like a neighborhood, hid in somebody's bushes and started eating leaves to try to get the like beer breath out of his mouth. So he was eating leaves. Like that's how psychotic he was.
Does that work?
I have no idea. Probably not. But when he didn't get caught, he didn't get in trouble. Nobody got in trouble too. Most of the guys were used to that stuff. They just sat there and like, all right. And they had to pour it out. He's like,
wait, how old was he?
He must have been when he first got to college, 18, 19.
18. I'm just picturing like an 18-year-old skinny Ed McCaffrey, like 2 Coors Light.
Tall and lumbering.
Like, just like eating leaves like a little chipmunk. Just
like eucalyptus leaves from like one of those big trees, just eating. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, so it might have been like one of his first beers he'd ever drank too, for real.
Yeah. He should have started earlier.
I know, seriously.
Leaves. That's ridiculous. I have loved hearing from so many people about some of our interviews. The Marilyn Plummer interview really landed with a lot of people, I will say. And I have a very good friend, Sam, shout out to you, Sam, who listens to all these podcasts. And he said that there was one thing that really resonated with him and just kind of hit home in a way that he had never really thought about before. When Jake Plummer, when we played the sound from Jake giving the message to his mom, one of the things that he said in that sweet video was, thank you for always answering the phone. Thank you for always picking up the phone. And it was a line that actually probably struck me the most too, for whatever reason, because it was so simple, but it just really, I think, says a million words without like that understanding that no matter what,
right,
you've got somebody who's going to pick up the phone. And
absolutely, somebody that
his wife is exactly that way,
yeah,
as well. And that is what mama bears do. And I think the way that Jake said it was so perfect. And again, if you haven't listened to that episode, I highly recommend it. And if you listen to that episode and get all the way to the end, be sure to go all the way to the end, because that's where we play the message from Jake for his mom.
So
but
good.
That's the thing. You never know what's going to be on the other end of that phone call, Lisa. And you've got 4 boys.
Yeah.
And you just never know. You never know
right.
when they're calling, you just never.
And you know what's so funny too about that is the minute I hear their voice, especially baby Luke, since or any of them, I know if they're happy or sad, like instantly. You can just hear their voice and you're like, and I can say, okay, what's wrong? And there's something, or wow, okay, he had a good day.
Do they call you more often when they're happy or when they're sad?
Sad, definitely. I get dumped on, I'll be honest. But that's okay. I've learned that. And I've learned what they'll do is they'll kind of dump on me or vent to me is what we say, always say vent. And usually it makes them feel better and they move on and they're fine. Yeah. And last year it was, for some reason, I just would it would just weigh on my shoulders. I would just, you could feel their pain and whatnot. And I would get off the phone, I'd mule over it and just think about it and stress and dwell. And this year, and then the next time I talk to them, they're perfectly fine. And whatever the issue was is gone. Like they figured it out. They just needed somebody to bounce something off of, but I sit with it. But this year I'm learning, I've evolved, for all moms out there, listen, be a good ear. If you have any advice to give advice, or just listen. Sometimes you just need to listen, which I've learned too, and then let it go. You have to just let it go. If not, you're just going to drive yourself crazy, and you're just going to, you're going to sit with this this ball inside you.
Because you already worry about your kids enough as it is, right?
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
the second that you feel like
something's awry,
upset, and then you take that on.
Right. And then they move on, and they usually rectify it, or it gets better. And it's all going to be okay. They're going to be okay. So
they are. And one of the other pieces of advice that I feel like just resonated so much from one of our earlier interviews was Marsha Leaf, with everything that she went through.
Oh, yeah.
When she said just what she wishes she had changed was that not everything's a big deal. Not everything needs to be a big deal.
Right.
And for her to say that,
right.
Because I think we do get caught up and worried about all of these things.
Yeah.
That in the end, the big stuff, it's what did she say? It's not what you go through, it's how we get through it.
Exactly. And look, and he has come out of that. And gosh, he's just such an amazing contributor to society, such a great person. And I attribute his mom being there. His mom was there for him, literally visited him every week. Yeah.
There's
answered
no
the phone, showed up. She was there. And that's, wow, that's an inspiration.
That's what life is about, showing up and about giving your kids an iPad when they stay home from school sick.
Right. Because that cures croup.
iPads cure croup.
Go stick her head in the freezer. I'm telling you, it's a cure-all for croup.
By the way, one last story for you. Today was picture day in kindergarten. So we bring them to, it's first day.
I want to see that picture. You have to put that up on our site.
Well,
okay.
I can't wait to send it, because talk about when you just are like, this all doesn't matter. This is like his first official school picture.
Yeah,
and
but maybe you should brush his hair, put a cute shirt on.
He's got his little tie and his little Catholic school uniform on, but he has, he got like destroyed by a bug.
Oh no.
When we were away this weekend. So he woke up, or last night I started to notice it. And then this morning he woke up, he has bug bites all over his forehead, which is fine.
No.
And then he got a bug bite like right on his eyelid, like his left eyelid. So his left eye is like almost swollen shut. Like at first I thought he was having an allergic reaction to something. And then I saw it and realized it's just a bug bite. And he said it didn't hurt. It wasn't bothering him, but he's literally going to be like this. He's going to have
one eye shut.
One eye shut.
Be the
I was
pirate.
giving him a patch.
Yeah. He can be the pirate.
I was giving him a pirate patch.
So.
But I was
and of course it has to happen the day before
the day of the pictures. Yeah,
right. Of course. It's so good. Those are priceless. I'll make sure to
send you one. I'll give you an 8x10.
Please. I want the little keychain.
I will.
Please. Yeah, I have some doozies.
The 8x10 keychain. I'll get you the 8x10 keychain.
Yes. Nothing will make me
Okay,
happier.
I'm just going to go. I'm going to, real quick before we sign off, I'm just going to grab Cora and make sure that she doesn't have anything that she really wants to say.
Okay, good.
You want to say hi to Lisa?
Hi, Cora.
Do you know she was the one who was telling me that what's going to make your croup feel better is some Skittles? Here's the thing about podcasts. It's an audio medium, not a video, so no one's going to be able to see you waving. So you got to say into the microphone. You got to say bye-bye. All right. Well, do you want to sit here while I finish?
Yes. I want her to sit there.
All right. So most importantly,
Cora, this is for you. If you want any money, ask your grandma. She'll give you whatever you want. If you ever need money, Skittles, candy, watch a movie, just do whatever you want. Go ice skating, roller skating. Grandma will let you no matter what. Even when your mom says no, go to grandma.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. She's like, I got that down. I want to say to you, Lisa, good luck this weekend.
Thank
I know that you will make it to Luke's game. I know that you will make it to Christian's game. I have a good feeling about both of them this weekend.
Awesome.
And Northern Colorado, who is Wyoming? Who are the Cowboys anyways?
Yeah, seriously. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. They're good. And I'm good. And I'm going to try to remember to bring a piece of paper and write down what my mom says during the game.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. Okay, I'm going to go be a really good parent the rest of today.
Go. Cora, I hope you feel better. Freezer. Stick her in the freezer.
If you say thank you, I'll give you a Skittle.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yes.
Finally.
Yay.
Okay, most importantly, whatever you want to hear about or who you want to hear from, please drop us a note on Twitter. I'm at Adamson Ashley. She's at Lisa McCaffrey 6. We have our own email address now. Email yourmompodcast@gmail.com.
I didn't even know that. I'm going to email us.
That sounds weirder than I meant it to sound, but
it's not an OnlyFans account.
It's not an OnlyFans account, although it could be.
Although that
just
might be
email
more
us if you've got
profitable.
any moms that you'd like to hear from that you think would be good.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for next week because we've got the McBrides.
Yes. Game
This
on.
is
They
one of
are.
our favorite interviews that we
It's
have done.
so good. They're so fun. They're
Jen
so
and Kate
amazing.
McBride, Trey McBride's moms join us, and this was an interview we did when we were all together in Colorado.
And live, which was so fun.
It was the best.
Yeah.
So can't wait for that. Lisa, enjoy the week.
You too. And
And-
Cora, I want you to feel better, okay? And I hope you get your Skittles.
Say see you next week.
See you next week.
We're gonna go smoke some more cigarettes.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.